Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Primal Gal podcast. I am so excited that you are here for my very first episode. Now, today we are going to be talking about the organ meat liver. I absolutely love liver. It was the first organ meat that I ever tried when I started on my nose to tail journey. So, today I've got quite a bit to say about that. So, let's just get right into it. Over the past couple hundred years, we have moved further and further away from ancestral traditions and practices that were keeping the human race thriving since the beginning of time. In this podcast, we talk about ancestral wisdom and nutrition and how we can reintroduce these traditions and practices back into our modern lives. I am Ashley French, and this is the Primal Gal podcast. So, liver seems to be the one organ meat that has stuck around even with all of the cultural culinary changes that we've had in the past 100 years in the United States, at least. Most other countries are still eating nose to tail, but the United States, we've totally lost that tradition, which is very unfortunate because we are missing a lot of very beneficial nutrients in our diets. I mean, no wonder why we are getting so sick. We are not eating the foods that we ate for thousands of years that helped us thrive. So, liver. Why has it stuck around for so long, even up until this point when everything else has kind of died off? Well, we still eat liver with liver and onions. That's a huge thing. Liver pate, that's pretty popular. There are some other dishes that people like. They like to do the ancestral blend in with ground beef. That is something that has been becoming a little bit more popular. Now, it's great because a lot of organ meats are starting to come back in a little bit with all of these people in the health space that are trying to, revive this nose to tail eating. So, with liver, it is one of the most nutrient dense foods on the planet. If I were to give you an entire list of all of the nutrients in liver compared to, let's say, I don't know, spinach or something, it wouldn't even compare. That's not even a comparison. So, we're not going to do that because it would be useless. So, we're just going to talk about the main nutrients in liver that are so important. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about the tradition or the history of liver. So, for thousands of years, liver was so incredibly prized by a lot of tribes. Normally, liver was the first organ meat consumed after an animal was killed by warriors. The warriors would eat the liver. Normally, it was also the first thing that would go bad when the animal was killed. And so the warriors would eat that, and then they would also sometimes take it back to their tribe to give to pregnant women or to lactating mothers because they believed that it brought vitality and energy and strength, which it does. I mean, they totally saw that with eating it. And so there were also a lot of cultures that would use liver ritually and spiritually, which is kind of interesting. But they truly never wasted anything, and so it's unfortunate that nowadays we do waste these precious organ meats. So let's talk a little bit about the nutrient profile of liver. So liver's most prominent nutrients. Everybody knows liver as being super high in iron, which it's high in heme iron. Now, heme iron is the more bioavailable version of iron, whereas all of the iron that you're going to find in plant-based foods, this is all non-heme iron. And non-heme iron, your body has to take that and convert it into heme iron in order to use it, whereas all animal-based products that have iron in it, that is heme iron, so it's much easier for your body to absorb. And iron is really important for your blood and your energy. You see people that are iron deficient and they are really pale, they don't have a lot of energy, they need more iron in their blood in order to thrive. Another thing is liver has all of the B vitamins. Every single one of the B vitamins, and it's pretty high in every one of them. It is especially high in vitamin B12. It's got quite a bit of that. It's also really high in vitamin A. Now, this can be a concern for a lot of people because, I mean, modern doctors, they tell a lot of people, especially pregnant women, which is really weird to me, that they shouldn't eat liver because they might get vitamin A toxicity, which isn't totally true. Now, this stems from there were some explorers a while ago, I think it was in the 1900s, some explorers that were in, I believe it was Antarctica, and they got really, really sick one day, like so sick, and they found out that it was due to the polar bear liver that they had eaten just a few days prior to this. Now, that is polar bear liver. You're not going to be coming across polar bear liver every single day. In fact, if you do, it's probably on the black market. You shouldn't be on there. Do not get polar bear liver from anywhere. But yeah, so it's polar bear liver is pretty high in vitamin A. So is like puffer fish liver, but puffer fish is also totally toxic. You don't want to eat puffer fish liver, one, because it just has more toxins in it. It is toxic. And yeah, it does have that vitamin, quite a bit of the vitamin A. Seal liver, you also want to avoid seal liver, but other than that, just about anything, any other liver is pretty safe to eat. Liver has a lot of protein. So it's much higher in protein than fat. It barely has any fat actually, and it has essentially zero carbohydrates, which is super nice if you are trying to go a little bit lower carb, but obviously animal-based foods are just gonna be lower carb, period. So I want to tell you about this anti-fatigue factor that is in liver. So back in 1951, there was a man by the name of Benjamin K. Ershoff, and he ran this study with raw, desiccated, or dried beef liver. So he had 3 different groups of rats, and each group of rats was given an ordinary diet, whatever that was, but each one of these had a little bit of a twist. So the first one, they were given 11 added vitamins into their diet. The second one was given fortified B vitamins, and the third diet was given a desiccated raw beef liver as 10% of their rations. And so after eating these diets for a couple weeks, he took each one of the groups and he put them in a tub of water, and they had 2 options: sink or swim. So the first group that was given the 11 vitamins, they swam for approximately 13.3 minutes before giving up. The second group with the fortified B vitamins, they were given, or they swam for about 13.4 minutes before finally giving up. And then the last group that was given the beef liver swam, there were 3 that swam for 63, 68, and 83 minutes or something like that. I might be getting that a little off. And then the rest of them were still swimming vigorously at 2 hours when they finally decided to terminate the study. Okay, so that is a crazy study. And so because of that, there are quite a few athletes that take beef liver hoping to get that anti-fatigue factor. And so there's not really like an official name for it, but a lot of nutritionists and doctors and scientists, they say that it's kind of just all the wonderful components and nutrients in liver combined together, and that's what creates this anti-fatigue factor in your body, because your body can assimilate the nutrients in liver so much better than like some, like an energy powder, energy drink, or pre-workout or whatever. So I also wanted to tell you something about like fermented cod liver oil. I know that you've heard of this. I'm sure you've heard of this. And if you haven't, go look it up. It's really fascinating. Fermented cod liver oil is so good for you. Now, there was a man by the name of Dr. Weston A. Price, and in the 1930s, he went around and was visiting a whole bunch of these civilizations where modern foods and modern commerce hadn't reached them yet, and so they were still living on their traditional diets. He was looking at their teeth to see like how healthy they were, and he found that those living on traditional diets were so much healthier, and they had essentially no teeth, like cavities and caries, compared to the other parts of this like civilization that were more exposed to modern foods and modern commerce. So there was an island that he visited in like the tropical islands. I want to say it was either like Samoa or Fiji. But what they would do is they would take shark stomachs and they would put the shark liver in the shark stomach and hang it by a tree, and it would ferment. The shark liver would ferment in the shark stomach, and then it would drip from the bottom of the stomach into a bowl, and then they would drink that. Okay, so that is fermented shark liver oil, but now today we know that more as like fermented cod liver oil. We don't really do shark liver oil anymore, but it's fermented cod liver oil that's super high in vitamin D. That's actually one of the best places to find vitamin D that comes from a food source and not just the sun. So that is super cool. I want to talk really briefly about the myths of liver. There's really only like one. I mean, we talked about the vitamin A. That's not necessarily a myth, but I feel like it is very misunderstood and not talked about enough in the right way. But the other one is that a lot of people are afraid of eating liver because they think they're going to be getting a toxin overload, because we know that the liver filters out toxins from the body. But so it does that. That is the role of the liver, is to filter out toxins from the body. The liver, it does not store toxins, however, but it does store other nutrients. Like it stores vitamins. And so when you're eating it, you're getting vitamins and you're getting minerals, but you're not getting toxins because it does not store that. It comes in and it goes out very, very quickly. So you really do not have to worry about that. So now let's talk about sourcing your liver. Liver, because it does not store toxins, whether you get it from an organic or an unorganic, however you say that, source, it's still going to be very beneficial because it does not store toxins. It only stores vitamins and minerals. I mean, I would recommend that you try to get it from the cleanest source possible, because there are a lot of butchers where they have, for a long time, they haven't been selling liver for human consumption. They've been selling it for dogs or cats. So they might not be packaging it for human consumption. So it might not be super clean. So you want to make sure that when you're getting it from your local butcher or farmer or rancher, or even online, that it is packaged for human consumption and that it is coming from a good source. I mean, for me, I try to get all my organ meats from ethically raised animals that are regeneratively raised, grass-fed, grass-finished, just so I know that I am supporting a good cause and supporting the environment, but also I am getting the best of the best if I can. Liver, if it comes from a really healthy animal, it doesn't have those toxins, but it's going to have more vitamins and minerals in it than coming from an animal that isn't going to be as healthy or come from a better environment. So if you want to really get the best out of it, then I really recommend doing the grass-fed, grass-finished, organic, regeneratively farmed. That can be a little more expensive, so if you're trying to start eating organ meats and you're really on a budget, then it's totally okay to go with the cheapest option that you have. Just make sure it is fit for human consumption and that they have cleaned it really well. So yeah, there's several places that you can find liver. Online for sure, you are going to get it online. I would recommend, trying to go to your local rancher, local butcher. You're probably going to get it the cheapest. It's going to be the most expensive online. It will be. It'll be probably twice as expensive online as it will be if you just go to somebody who does butcher animals. They might even just give it to you for free. I know that has happened before. That's happened to me. I have a lot of friends and family. They know that I love to eat organ meats, and so they will just give me their organ meats from their cows, from their animals for free, which is amazing. Okay, perks of having a lot of really good connections in your community. So yeah, that's the end of this podcast. I hope you enjoyed that. This is the first podcast. Okay, I'm going to be coming out with a lot more. We're going to be talking about organ meats. We're going to be talking about ancient wisdom and practices that we have forgotten, maybe that we're trying to revive, but things that I just think are so, so, so important. So hit that follow button, whatever platform you're on, leave me a good review, and I'm the Primal Gal, and we'll see you in the next one.